All right. I'm this. So I'm gonna continuously make videos, because I don't know when the time will be when I will not be able to talk. I keep hearing say keep talking. It's like yes, I will keep talking, and who I'm saying is, so as a target individual, unfortunately, you're part of this human subject experimentation where you have these perps who are subcontracted by agencies to do these things where they torment an individual into all kind of ways, but they utilize technology that is extremely sophisticated. I know it sounds like sci-fi, but truth is, at this point, with the level of similar testimonial, one might just, it's hard to just say that there's nothing there. We cannot all be saying the same thing and be delusional. There's obviously something that's happening now. I was listening to MK Ultra stories, and that was like in the 50s, in the 60s. Now imagine that on another level with the utmost sophisticated weaponry you can imagine. We're talking about DARPA and other technology. There was no DARPA during those days of MK Ultra. I don't believe there was a. So you can imagine now with the sophistication and the ability they have, what they are capable of doing, right? And so now this MK Ultra on steroid plus technology that is super futuristic and almost fictional, um, because of the ability they have. They can implant different thoughts. They can make them. They can manipulate your thoughts. This is something. It's hard to believe, but that's what they do. But the way they manipulate them is not think, not in a good way. This is a military way of applying this technology. Is to break you down, and so they break you down in so many ways, in so many disturbing, manipulative, disgusting ways to push you to suicide and insanity. And so, with me, you know, you have these perps which are some subcontracted by these entities, these intelligence community entities, to break you down, right? And your whole ecosystem is filled with different type of perps of those contracted trash to make you subscribe to it. They are nobodies, but within this technology, within this program, they feel special, right? Very much childlike individuals, cowardness on the nth degree. So you shouldn't see them as anything else but the trash that are contracted. And you see them for what they are, right? They delude themselves in so many ways. With me, and you hear so many others testimonials of people being put in this program by even employers, right? They want subjects, and I was put in this program by an employer who very influenceable. Now, these people that they've contracted, the subcontractors, these perps, have been trying to make themselves be some kind of feminist group of or like righteous individual. They're trash. And so for me, because they're trying to counter reality, my employer put me in this program for the purpose of my employer put me in this program, and there was some race base, right? And I remember when things were going over there, they were trying to find ways to blame me for, or try to find ways to make me feel, uh, they were trying to blame me for the small things, right? But in reality, I've contributed so much to that employer. It's hard to just ignore that. And so today, I am working for a new employer. They hired me for the sole purpose to break me down. I know that. The second I started working there, they made it clear. So everything I'm experiencing at this point as an employee for this employer is orchestrated. I knew that. But I continuously do what I need to do and show dignity while they are trash, right? And they try to do things to try to make me subscribe to their narrative where, no, you whatever, you're a bad employee. They try to find ways, and they try to come up with reality that's just so big, like so childlike. Like I will never subscribe to these things. They'll try to say, when I was working for the employer, the actual employer who put me in this program, who I actually was working for at one point for actually doing things, and was for my what I contributed was actually what they hired me for, they at the point when they put me in the program, they were trying to find anything possible. But mind you, at this point, I'm an associate, right? But they were trying to find ways to make me feel like I was responsible for something. They were like to the point they tried to blame me for something that is so above me, so above me, to the point that there was this like level of this product manager that was fired, and he was like, he's been in the company for 10 years. He was like right under the vice president or something, like a higher, like, and because of what he did, they start focusing on the product that I was working on, right? And they're trying to like make it seem like it was me, and it was just illogical, right? Now, mind you, at the time, I'm an associate. I don't understand. I kind of feel guilty. But looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so stupid. It's like it's just delusional to even think that this really can come to me, right? And now they try to find ways of like, oh no, remember this person was doing this. Like, oh my gosh, it was so much bigger than what they're trying to create. They're trying to minimize what really happened, right? I don't want to be technical, but let's just say that there was a tactic utilized overall for the company and specifically for my department. That tactic was treating all products the same ways, right? Once something happened, the president looked at it as like, I don't want all products to be equal. Some products are not equal because some products have a higher margin than others. This is very technical. I'm saying these things. Imagine me being an associate in a small department. They're now looking at these ways of changing the way we go to do these things. And now they're blaming me. A small, this tiny individual in this huge organization. And they're trying to say, oh no, it's because you weren't doing, like, it's just delusional. It's just because the way things were treated at this time was everything was treated equally, when in reality, some products had to be minimized, some had to be prioritized based on the margin. Right? This is very big. Like, so now looking back, I remember they were trying to like, I understand that. And now they try to say things that are just nonsensical. Try to say no, if you added enough, there was ways to like mess with the system in a regard, because we used to be compensated, not even compensated, recognized for if you added many X amount of this, X amount of that, which the truth is some people had a system to do things, to just add as many things even though they don't do much. Instead of adding one that can block 20, they will do like one by one. It was just a way. But the truth is, there was a bigger structural issue there. And then at the end, ended up impacting everything else. And so they were trying to make me feel guilty of that. Now, what I'm trying to say here is you have to understand that these people try to create a false narrative. You have to recognize that. Now, that was before. Now, as I'm a current employee, it's like there's no way. I'm set up, orchestrated to the T for failure. Everything is set for me to just be orchestra. So I know that. I expect, okay, when is it going to show? Oh, okay, this. And there was this moment where this thing, I was like, everything is orchestrated. I understand. I have people I work with, clientele, that would say things like, oh, we're going to bend you. Like, we're going to, like, they do, making sure that I'll never be able to work. Literally. Right? They said that before anything happens. And then all of a sudden, the act is where I was like, oh my gosh, this is because something here has been orchestrated. I don't know what part, but there's been some orchestrations of some sort. So you got to understand, as an employee, most likely your employer will be participating in that. You got to understand that. But to see these people, enjoying this is like, I understand the enjoyment they have. They don't know what's going to happen to them. Me, they have everything orchestrated to the T. My failure has been orchestrated, so I don't even consider my failure. Everything is you can't even own up your own failures because you're like I can't even be fail. How can you even fail when you don't even have the ability to actually do what you need to do? So there's no failure at this point. It's just let the let this manipulation do its part. They just orchestrate everything to the T. So you understand that. So I know that things are being orchestrated for me to fail. So you gotta accept that this is how it's gonna go. Now me, at least I'm able to see things and like something's off here. Something is off here. Why is this looking at this? Those things that I'm noticing. Why is like we're not doing anything different, but this is changing drastically. Matter of fact, we're doing less and there's more, right? So you understand there's a bigger thing that is just happening, and so you gotta understand that. You gotta have to understand that things are orchestrated in certain ways. You have no true say in regard of what's happening. And so whatever is going to happen to you as a current employee, first of all, understand you are working under the worst condition a human being can be working when it comes to just try to focus and be smart, and you are being radiated every day. So that alone shows how hard. It shows that there's no way you can even there's no way you can function. You are being tormented, manipulated, body you being handicapped. The things that I have to go through. So that alone shows that. But at the same time, you gotta understand, put things in perspective. They're trying to make me think that I'm not. I'm just an idiot. No, I know things are just put in certain ways. I know how things. I understand things are orchestrated. I don't. These people cannot devalue me. They try to make me feel like I'm what was the right word? You can see this is when they mess with my brain. They make it even hard for me to come up with words. But they make you what's the word? Oh my man, it's escaping me. But it just basically make it hard for you to function, right? And then they try to make you feel bad for it. Now listen, I'm not perfect, right? I've made errors. I will make errors if I was normal too, right? This is just a no. I'm not perfect, right? I'm not gonna be saying like, if I was me 100%, I'll be like always perfect 100%. That's not true. But they're making it very, very, very hard for you to function, and so you gotta have to be strong. And so understand that you don't even look at this as failure. There's no failure here. I can't even fail. That's how bad it is. I don't even have the ability to fail because everything is orchestrated and you're manipulated and nothing is able. You cannot even be able to be a failure. But you gotta be strong. And for me, I've been able to just put things in perspective. I was able to see things for what they are. And I don't know how long I can do that for, but in the meantime, I want to be able to talk about it. This is how I want to use my last words, because they are doing things to my throat, right? You can probably hear my voices. If you go from 2020, you hear my voice now, it's becoming weaker. So I'm never going to subscribe to their things. And this is how I want to spend my last words. It's saying that these people are trash, subcontracted by these entities filled with pedophiles, doing the pedophile type of torture, to making you hard to function. Their goal is to destroy your life in every ways. So, target individual, when you start working somewhere, and these people, these employers of yours, they're participants. Somehow they contracted in this to make you fail, to torment you. But I know the roots of the source of why I'm here. They're just trying to take that away from they want to create this reality because the people who put me there in this program they're very far from anything they're trying to present. My profs have a facade. They have a facade of this progressive righteous thing, but once in a program, it doesn't. The perps can be in your perps. The perps can be your own family members. Once you're in the program, forget about race or anything. None of that matters anymore. But the reason I was put in this program before these perps came in was because my old employer, extreme conservative group of people, especially in my department, starting with the VP, right? Put me in this program. Once you put there, it's finished. And this employer of mine, very business savvy, great company in the sense of what they do, but very much on the conservative side. And these people who can't even say Roy Moore because of that employer are trying to come up with this fantasy of theirs. These preps, for some reason, wanted to delude themselves. That's why I say the theater they're going to create it. It's what I'm praying for God to give me strength for. Because they've been embarrassed. The people who put me here sponsor a pedophile. They are very on the conservative side. Some of these people want to be this femme fatale, whatever, progressive. You talk about all kind of conservative things they've done. It's embarrassing to them. So they want to run away from this and create their fantasy, which I'm not going to do. These people, this femme fatale right now, know that I know they torture a lot of women and children. And they know that I know that these people are involved in a program that is renowned for their pedophilia type of tormenting, torture children and women, and use the foulest, nastiest tactics, using this weaponry that is so futuristic. So for me, what's going to happen, they're going to try to differentiate themselves like we're different, right? Even though if you hear my testimonies, you're going to hear the same somewhere else. But they're going to try to differentiate. Now it's going to be our torture, right? They use childlike individuals, and they use agitating ways of saying things and agitate you to be childlike, to make you lose your mind. Because they want to be away from the people who torture children and women, do horrible things, even sexual torture, right? It's like, no, it's our torture. That's how they sound. And they want to present themselves as we're doing it for our children. We're protectors. Clowns. They're opportunists. They want to feel like God. But they're low-lives. They know what this program does, including what they do to children and women. They would talk about me as a child, try to find anything they can try to use to create this villain, to vilify me. While they're in a program that manipulate people to think in these disgusting ways, that torture children and women, and they work day in and day out to break you down. If you show my skull, you can see my skull just changing because they're doing things. My brain is just like something's happening. And every time they do these pedophilia things, I can see the veins coming out. And they're like, no, it's you when you're a child. And they all try to come up with some storylines. Like, no, I know who I am. It's what you guys do to me. And I know kids can do stupid things. They're like, oh, remember that person who was looking at you like that because he saw what you did as a kid. Does he know that I know what they do to kids? Do you know I know you guys suffocate 7-year-old kids with autism, man? Babies, 3-week-old, with condition? Torture them sexually, 4-year-old being tortured sexually via dark energy. You're delusional. Sometimes when I see them, I want to lose my like. I just remember that these people are the same people in the program that do horrible things to kids, and they try to talk about pain now. I'm like, oh my gosh, when you know what they do to children, you want to lose your mind. That's when I'm glad I don't have children, because if I had children and these people were doing, I'm sorry, but I would have gone. They try to do something. So to all my target individual, do not forget. Do not forget who these people are. And if you need a reminder, make videos. Say what you need to say. Vent. But tell your story one way or another. because these people wants to delude themselves into a fantasy. I'm here every day to remind myself that these people are what these people are and what they've done to people. And whatever they try to make me think and make me, oh, remember that day, remember that person, how they were looking at you, oh, they were looking at you this way because they saw what you did as a kid. And it's okay. Now looking back is even worse. Like, oh my gosh, if I would know they were looking at me like that, and I was like aware of what was happening to me, and I was aware who was doing this to me. Whew, I'm glad. So to all my target individuals, stay strong and know that justice will be done for what they've done.